Hi everyone. Previously, we learned how to convert mixed numbers into decimals, and we looked at mixed numbers with denominator 10 or 100. So for example, let's say if we have 2 and 6/10, I know that this is the same as 2 ones, and for the parts I have 6/10, which means my answer is 2.6. Now we also look at denominator 100. So for example, if I have 4 and 1700. What does this mean in decimals? So I have 4 ones based on the number of wholes that there are in my fraction. And for 1700s, let's look at this on top. 10 hundredths is 1/10 and 10 tenths is 1/1. So 1700s is the same as separating it into 10 hundredths and 700ths. And I know 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. So that means that I should have 1/10 and 700ths. So this is what we learned previously. So now we will be looking at some fractions where the denominator is not 10 or 100 to see how we can convert them into decimals. Okay, so the first question that we're going to look at, let's say I want to convert 1 and 2/5 into a decimal. How can I do that? So if we look at the right side, previously we already know how to convert it if the denominator is 10 or 100. Similarly, I will need to convert my mixed number into a fraction where the denominator is 10 or 100. Currently, it is 5. So I will try and pick the smaller number. So if I can convert it into 10, I'll convert it into 10. If not, then I'll convert it into 100. So I know that 1 whole will remain. For me to get denominator 10, I need to multiply my denominator by 2, which means to get an equivalent fraction, I need to multiply my numerator by 2 as well. And this gives me 1 whole and 4/10. Now, if I look at my examples on the right, I should be able to convert this into a decimal fairly quickly, because 1 whole and 4/10 is basically the same as 1/1 and 4/10, which is 1.4. Let's look at another example. Let's say I have 3.5. I want to convert this into a decimal. Okay. Currently, I can't do that because my denominator is not 10 or 100. So what I will need to do is I will need to convert my denominator into 10 or 100. So which one should I choose? Actually, I can convert it into 10. So I always try and pick the smaller one. So I multiply by 5. And then I multiply by 5 as well. So I'll get 5/10. So 3 wholes and 5/10 is actually 3 ones and 5/10. So if you're not able to convert it very quickly, you can also use the help of a place value chart. So how would a place value chart look like? So for example, if I convert it into ones, tens, hundreds, Yeah, I know for the first question, there is 1 and 4/10. And between my ones and tens, it will be my decimal point. So that's how I get 1.4. For the second one, I have 3 wholes, which is the same as 3 ones. And then I have 5/10. Remember my decimal point? So that's how I get 3.5. Now let's look at some other questions. Now let's say I want 2 1/4. Can I convert this such that my denominator is 10? Actually, I can't. So I have no choice but to convert it to a denominator that is 100. So I can do this by multiplying 4 by 25. That will give me 25 as my numerator and 100 as my denominator. Now looking at the examples on the right, can we convert this into a decimal? Okay, so we can. This is the same. It is 2 ones. 25 hundredths is the same as 2 tenths and 5 hundredths. So that will be 2 tenths, 5 hundredths. So if I were to put this into my place value chart, it will look like what we did just now. So 2 ones. So just now we said 2 tenths, 5 hundredths. That's how we get 2.25. Let's look at one more example. Let's say I have 5 and 3 out of 20. How do I convert this into a decimal? So same thing as what I did previously. I can't change it to denominator 10. So I have to change it to denominator 100. So I want denominator 100. How do I get from 20 to 100? I multiply by 5, which means I need to multiply my numerator by 5 as well. And I get 15. Okay. So this is 5 ones. And I have 15 hundredths. 15 hundredths is the same as 1/10 and 500. And if I look at it in my place value chart, it will be 5 ones, 1/10, and 500 with a decimal point. So just to recap, every time we want to convert into a mixed number into a decimal, we need to change it such that the denominator is either 10 or 100.